If you're experiencing lag and high ping issues, you're not alone. We've all been there and it sucks. Even though we might not be able to entirely remove it, there are workarounds for it, especially when you're playing Fanny. First is to use simple cables. Use 2 cables or 3 at most. Or you might be able to get away with freestyle with muscle memory, but be cautious. Second, try to focus on farm and get the lead even further in order to make it easier for team fights. So this is the general strategy that you need to implement throughout the game. Third, let your teammates start the fight and be the cleanup crew. I know, it doesn't sound that glorious, but if nobody initiates and you're the only one who can do it, only initiate when you're sure that you can cable out safely. You can use 3 cable reverse to poke enemies and be able to come back safely. If the internet is really bad and it's unplayable, then unfortunately there's nothing we can do there. You're better off resting, but if you really want to practice, you can use custom, practice mode, or even offline mode. Now, I'm going to show you a gameplay where the ping was going up and down and it feels like you're running in your dream but you can't feel your legs. And the ping went over 200. Without further ado, this is a gameplay where I applied these 3 tips. Enjoy. Okay, now even while taking this blue buff, we can really feel the delay. Now here's tip number 1 in action, just using simple cables. Then tip number 2, focusing on farming just to gain the advantage. And here's a 243 ping. Okay, we're leading now, so that's good. After that, I would normally TP back, but Tigreal is making his way, so we're gonna gank bottom lane with him. So don't blink or you might miss this. Did you catch that? And at this point, I tried turning on mobile data together with the Wi-Fi. The delay is still there, but at least the ping spikes are already gone. Okay, here's tip number 3 application. We can engage because Aldous is initiating and the attention is on him, not on us. Okay, this is against tip number 1. There's still a delay, but because of muscle memory, you'll be able to do it. You just need to time it a bit earlier than usual. Okay, back to tip number 2. Farm to get further ahead. And here we can initiate because we already know that the enemies are spent from the recent team fight, so it doesn't contradict tip number 3. And this is why it's not advisable to do freestyle while you have delay or high ping. That would have gone much better if I used simple cables. And if ever you made a mistake, just blame it on the ping and your teammates will forgive you. And here's an example where the 3 cable reverse is very important in poking and baiting out enemy skills. In this instance, Zask used his ultimate and we're just going in with the 3 cable reverse again to check, and indeed he used the ultimate. And there are instances that you won't be able to do anything because of bad internet. So here is an example. I was pointing the joystick to the left so that Fanny could back, but it's not working, it's not registering. And this is why ping spikes are back. And don't forget tip number 2, to keep farming and keep your lead or even extend it. And you can take it a step further by denying farm for your enemies by invading. And this is the power of simple cables even with some delays. And that's tip number 1. Here, while we're securing this, the enemy came to contest. So back to tip number 3, stay away from the front lines, only go in if you're sure and confident of what you're doing. To be honest, that was a huge risk, but it actually paid off. Okay, after that we commenced the Lord Dance again, and our teammates are already engaging so we can safely go in. And because we were patient and followed tip number 3, a lot of things happened. A lot of good things. But a simple single mistake could turn the tides. And that triggered our team to go into a downward spiral. And we were wiped out, so watch closely. That's a good set by Tightroll, by the way. But for some reason, this happened. I was only able to survive that one because I was using 3 cable reverse. So even with setbacks like that, don't panic, just continue farming and do what you can. Push the lanes and see what you can do to help the team. And here's tip number 3 in action. Wait for your teammates to initiate. Alright, so that went well, and that enabled us to secure the Lord. But then this happened. Anyways, together with Louis, we're going back to the front lines. After that, we recall back to base, and our team is chasing Harley, so we're gonna go there as well. And here are tips number 1, 2, and 3 in action all together. We're taking our blue while the enemy is busy engaging with Clint and Aldos. Now while we're at the river, the enemy came in to contest, but we were able to secure it, and our teammates are engaging in a team fight, so we're just gonna wait for the proper time to go in. If you want to learn and master Fanny with just 6 moves or 6 combos, watch this video. Click the link and see you there.